All right, so we're now live once again. And then if everybody gets their Audition or Audacity or what have you up and running to record.
I'm ready to hit record whenever.
Right. Why is this not letting me do that? Read. All right. You know what? I'm just going to open up a new session. I'm just going to call it part 2. It's easier than trying to figure out why I can't just continue from the original one. Okay, I'm recording in Audition.
Same.
Everybody recording?
I'm just going to hit record now. Yep, I'm recording.
All right, we'll do 3, 2, 1, and snap. 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody's got their got the Google Doc up so we can continue. So the way we're going to work it is just I'll do like a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then we'll come into I'll just say, because we're not even going to reference the fact that this is like a second whatever. We're just going to pick up exactly where we left off, which is okay. And we're back, and we're going to go right into treatment. So we will do that and then go into the skit. So if we're all set, let's do this in 3, 2, and we're back. So let's get into treatment, starting as we always do with in-universe. What would your recommendations be for treatment of Northstar, in universe?
Yeah.
Given his history.
So the first thing I would need him to do is slow down. I don't think it's a matter of just psychologically saying that. Whatever it would take. I don't know if there are other powerful beings that can help with that. I don't know if Iceman would want to jump on something like that, like even if it's a matter of just getting in a block of ice and say, you can't move for a little while. Anything that gives like a certain amount of time so that his brain can catch up. Not saying that as an insult, just the fact that he does everything so quickly. No one else can react to what he does unless he gives them the opportunity. So it's not just for him, it's for everyone around him. So that's my main thought. I don't think it has to be more complicated than that to start.
So some impulse control issues.
Yeah.
So looking at it in terms of a clinical aspect, something like DBT could be very, very beneficial in terms of recognizing those emotions and regulating those behaviors. So stopping himself from reacting before it kind of gets too late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Iceman because Bobby...
You picked up on that, didn't you?
Oh, I absolutely did. Bobby, as a fellow gay mutant, has a history of dealing with Jean-Paul and his own struggles in coming out and so on. And even before it was really announced that Bobby was gay, they had a sort of contentious relationship. I confess I haven't read all of the more recent X-Men books, so I'm not exactly sure what their current relationship is, but at least as of maybe about 7 or 8 years ago or so, there was just a little bit of banging heads with each other. So I just find it interesting that you would reference bringing in Bobby to help him with his therapy. I think that's an interesting choice. So, and yes, I did pick up on that. So interesting. All right. So out of universe, then let's, I mean, a gay extreme sports athlete who is just very impulsive, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's fairly easy to strip out the power set and just look at Jean Paul or a real life Jean Paul and say, what are some of the things that we can do to help address some of his issues?
Right. I think Dr. Goku hit it right on the head. Thinking of something like DBT to, really start getting focus for the person. I'm going to go ahead and leap out in terms of the medical side of things, because what I end up seeing with patients like this is they may or may not have done some of their own homework. Dr. Google can be an interesting friend or foe. And so the very first thing that I get from patients like this is, well, doc, I have ADHD and I most definitely need a stimulant. I need, methylphenidate or mixed amphetamine salts. I'm doing my best not to use brand names here. But I'll go ahead and do it because I think everybody at this point, it's ubiquitous within society, at least in the US, like Ritalin or Adderall. Those are the two main things that people end up asking for.
Yeah, there's Vyvanse, which is kind of the up and comer.
Yeah, exactly. There's also alternatives that are still considered medication management. Bupropion is one that's commonly used for attention deficit. There's also well, I'll go ahead once again. I'll just use the brand names as people know it anyway. Strattera. So there's different opportunities there, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it's not a category that I have typically brought up on the broadcast before. So I just wanted to take the opportunity. I'm not totally against them. I just want to point out that there are some risks associated with them. First of all, there's the possibility of diversion, and what that means is sometimes people get the prescription, but they don't actually take them for themselves. They either just for the sake of trying to help other people be very nice, but in all honesty, some people sell them. There's a reason why they became
I knew
so
a kid back in high school that did that.
Yeah. And so there's that risk. And then there's the actual risk with the medication itself. Depending on the age of the person, it does affect a person's development potentially. That includes growth. I've had patients run the full gamut. I've had people develop obsessions. I've had people develop outright, this is going to sound surprising, develop outright psychosis, actual hallucinations. The most interesting one was a person that was convinced that their family was, and to figure out how they were controlling them, they dismantled every electronic device in their household. So these things are not without risk. At the same time, though, I have had plenty of patients that have had significant benefits. So I just figured I'd bring that to the attention of our listeners. So I don't want to make it sound one way or the other. Yes, can be a benefit, but also be very careful. Make sure that you're properly. And now we have what's called prescription monitoring. So no, you can't just say that you lost your pills or they magically ended up being flushed down the toilet. We've heard it all, and we
because ADHD medication, I know here up in Canada, is a controlled substance.
Correct. Yeah.
So Goku, Dr. Goku, what about some of your recommendations or your suggestions? Is there anything you would do maybe slightly differently or in addition to what Doc Issues is suggesting?
So the ADHD aspect is pretty prevalent there. With most speedsters, they have that hyperactivity. But I'm also seeing, and with a lot of the characters that we kind of delve into, is trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So often, and I talk about this with my clients as well, is most people focus on the capital T trauma that is defined within the DSM-5. But I tend to focus more on the lowercase t traumas, where it be a variety of childhood experiences, bullying, loss, grief, And we see with Jean Paul, he has gone through so much throughout his life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We didn't even really get into that as much as I think we could have, and as far as in the background and the issues, but the loss of not only his birth parents, but then also his adoptive parents before the age of 10 is horrific. And
then being on the streets. And I think he was in a thief guild for a while. I don't remember correctly.
Potentially, but I mean, just again, bringing this back to out of universe, a real life person who loses both their biological parents and then their adoptive parents before the age of 10. That's a big T trauma and a little T trauma. That's horrifying. And, so to think about some of the ways that we could address those issues.
Right. Not to mention, he, lost contact with his sister and then regained that contact.
And then that twin identity is so important for twins. It's part of their identity. And him not knowing he was a twin for the better part of his life is just missing a part of himself.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on there, a lot to unpack.
And we know that multiple childhood traumas has a significant impact on the developing brain.
Yep.
Definitely.
So those impulse control issues could very well be some manifestations of trauma there as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think there's any question that the impulse control and all of the hot-headed and the temper issues that he deals with are, I don't want to say a direct result, but certainly can be tied, at least in no small part, to the trauma that he suffered and the losses. And I think maybe to some extent it's that need of, I want it now because it may be gone tomorrow. Looking at it from that aspect, that going through those kinds of losses of his parents and the people who cared for him, then he's going to say, well, whatever it is that I want, I'm going to do it now because I may not get another chance to get it again. So I'm just going to live in the moment. Yeah. And I think that may be directly responsible for at least that aspect of his personality for Jean Paul. And then obviously any real person who goes through that kind of a loss or those kinds of losses at a young age is going to have that kind of a mindset.
Yeah.
So with all of that being said, we're going to I'm going to step aside in one of the rare cases here, and I'm going to let Dr. Goku step in and play the role of Jean-Paul Beaubier, and let's see what happens when we get Northstar on Dr. Issues' couch. All right, so Goku, you've got the script up, and so you've got the bolded stuff, and I'll let Doc Issues do the countdown and basically do your best.
Yeah,
Quebecois.
I was gonna say, especially with any guests that we've had before, anyone who's done any characters, at this point they know our style, which means that we are not subtle actors. It's okay to ham it up. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Oh yeah,
it's part of comics and superheroes. You gotta have the flair for the dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, well, this skit is not one that requires copious amounts of acting, certain, we've done some heavier episodes that I've called upon some acting training to pull off. This is not one of them. I have there are a couple of instances where there's suggested line readings, whisper back to normal voice, etc. But I mean, you've read it, you get a feel for how he is, what kind of vibe he's going for. So just have fun. That's the suggestion.
No problem. I'll give it my best Canadian try.
So,
All right.
all right. Issues, you're up. I'll let you do the countdown. And
Okay. So in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Jean-Paul. I'm Dr. Issues.
Hello, Doctor.
Well, thank you for coming. I understand there's some scheduling conflicts. I know you're very busy.
The Team Northstar tour is going great. We're selling out everywhere we go, and the fans couldn't be hairier. Ça coche, là.
Well, that's all well and good, but how are you doing?
All right, I guess. I feel fine. I'm here because it seems like the type of thing I'm supposed to do.
I don't even.
Well, I've had some odd things happen in my life, and I've never really talked to someone about it. So I figured that it was good for my sister. Ben là, je peux pas être un hypocrite.
Oh, wow, I'm flattered that you think so highly of mental treatment. I don't want to take up too much time chit-chatting if it doesn't suit your needs. Do you have any more specific goals that you would like to work on?
I have some questions about the process. Qu'est-ce que la procédure? Is it painful, like torture?
No, that's a bit startling to ask.
You don't know what types of psychological warfare exists, or perhaps you do know, and that's why you come across so unassuming. With your therapy, decrease my mental resilience. I've gone through so much, well, the la merde, and I don't have the time if you are going to fuck with my brain, Esti.
Well, I'd hope not. That would be opposite of what I propose for most of my patients. Sorry, let me just do that line again. I would hope not. That would be the opposite of what I propose to do for most people.
How will my mutant powers be affected by the treatment?
They shouldn't be. I noticed a pattern in your questions. You're worried that I'll make you weaker somehow. Why is that?
Anyone that has manipulated my mind has done so for their own benefit. I never want to go through that again. I can't afford to. I have some people I love. I have people that love me. Fans adore me.
Okay, let's clarify a few things. First, I don't manipulate minds. I help people discover their personal emotional spectrum and sharpen their tools in managing life situations. Second, I can't imagine the type of pain you suffered. That must have been excruciating, and I'm glad you survived. Third, I'm glad yourself, especially with personal relationships. Are we on the same page now?
Maybe. I need to know that you'll be able to give me some strong vote of confidence.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
You know, I'm always part of some major organizations.
Sure. So
I really need someone who can give me a clean bill of health and let the public know that I'm fit to serve in all capacities. Alpha Flight, X-Men, Shield, X Games, whoever needs me, je suis le gars.
in layman's terms, you want the equivalent of a return to work notice.
That's the best thing you can do for me right now. I can answer anything you want as long as you'll give me that reassurance. I can't be fucking bothered sitting around wasting time waiting to get back out there. J'ai le feu au cul puis j'ai fini. Come on, I'm too important to, how do you say, twiddle my thumbs?
Well, rubber stamp evaluations. If you want an honest assessment, you'll get it, but I'll need to know your parameters of work. Like, how many hours in general do you log in a typical week?
In normal hours or near light speed hours?
Normal is fine.
6?
You only do 6 hours of work?
That's why I made the distinction. When you do things fast, you don't need that much time. The workload that's expected in that time is the equivalent of a small nuclear explosion.
I'm starting to think I'm ill-equipped to handle this assessment. I took physics years ago, and it wasn't the quantum variety.
My point is, anybody I team with expects me to do what they want, how they want it. If I'm not the one taking the brunt of the responsibility, that's not right, Doctor.
How long have you felt this way?
In normal time, or
just normal time, please.
Well, no matter how you time it, I felt like this longer than I can care for. I want respect. I command respect.
Are you sure? It's starting to sound like you command attention.
Say, I'm not a glory hog. I've worked hard for everything. Sometimes harder than anyone expected me to. When do I get my reward for the fruits of my labor?
I have no idea. I mean, you've made numerous assumptions of others with what you just said. I mean, how do I know what your effort is compared to those around you? Do they give you feedback?
Things have been tense in the past. Said Valeur, my own sister hated me once. I've learned my lessons. I've come out publicly to raise AIDS awareness. I've given up gold medals. When is the sacrifice enough?
I still have no idea. I mean, you're not going to get a different answer from me. You're going to have to find that answer for yourself. In fact, that's such a poignant question. I think it should be the focus of your therapy. You have to find out what enough means for you. Like, forget external labels, ignore the noise. You said you don't want to be a hypocrite. Fine. Don't talk about the fantasy of splitting the positives from the negatives. If you want to rest on your laurels, okay, fine, but accept that you'll be doing less in total. If you want to carry the weight of the world, be prepared to train for a Herculean task.
But I know Hercules, and he's really
That's not my point.
I understand. You have much to discuss for our next session.
Oh, I'm glad you agree for the need of next session.
But you'll have to speak to Kyle. I may not be here for several months. The show must go on.
I wouldn't expect anything different.
Excellent.
Speedy.
All right, so we're going to come back. I was looking up trying to find like more recommended reading. I mean, aside from Alpha Flight 106, he did have like a 4-issue miniseries in the early 90s. Otherwise, it's been mostly just Alpha Flight and the occasional X-Men books. So
maybe his wedding issue.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me pull up that one too. Let me find out. That was, let's see. It was in Astonishing X-Men. I know that. Just trying to find. Okay, Astonishing X-Men 51.
He's an important character with not many important issues.
Yeah. Well,
good point.
For the recommended reading, I mean, we usually do like an arc or something along those lines, but for this, I think the single issues are key.
He's classified what, a D-list character? Somewhere down the rungs.
I mean, again, like we were saying yesterday, based on his power rankings on the Marvel website, I don't find that
low.
Yeah, I don't find that really to be accurate either.
How is it? I was going to say, how is it that when you combine him and Aurora, they can, produce some pretty darn, destructive stuff, and yet, he ends up that low.
And again, his speed on a scale of 1 to 10, his speed is ranked as a 2.
Yeah, that makes zero sense.
That is not accurate at all. I mean, I don't want to be one of those nerds, but
some other type of speed within the universe.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know either. But like I said, I don't want to be. I don't want to be that nerd. But
hey.
what is this garbage thing? Northstar speed ranking. It's clearly too low.
Well, I mean, then again, you don't want to get to the break the universe Quicksilver kind of description, especially if you go by the X-Men movies. So
yeah, that's
just
true.
my opinion. Which still pisses off, by the way. All right. Anyway, yeah. I just realized I don't want to go on that tangent. Okay.
Yeah, let's not open up that can of worms.
Just for the hell of it, what is Quicksilver?
Okay, so you know what? Yeah, fine. Well, I'll do it. So Quicksilver.
Its speed is 7.
Yeah. Are you? All right, fine. So, some Days of Future Past.
Did what?
Did you see the movie with me, Days of Future Past?
I mean, I saw it. I don't know if I saw it with you.
The only reason I'm saying is that depiction of Quicksilver is what I'm talking about, where they break out Magneto, because he's, underneath Washington, D.C., and when they introduce him, all these guards are out there shooting, and he literally has his headphones on, and he's just casually, bullets while it's fine, and everything just happens 3 seconds total. But he's totally comfortable with it, and he's a teenager. In other words, they made him the perfect foil to everyone that could solve everything in an instant, and that was it. That was his one appearance, and after that, he's not even used for the rest of the movie. And I'm like, that just breaks everything. You pretty much just said, yeah, we could solve this if we just let Quicksilver do everything before anybody can react, and they threw it away. So I get bugged by that sort of depiction of a character. Don't make him break your premise.
I think the studio just wanted to shoehorn him in.
Yeah,
I think part of it was because
Marvel was bringing Pietro in.
Yep.
The MCU,
right?
Well, let's bring him in and make him super powerful because ours is better.
Yeah, and then they kill him off by having him get shot with helicopters. I mean, I feel like there were two extremes there, and both of them were bad.
By the way, I'm looking at the Quicksilver page, and apparently 7 is the highest ranking you can have in anything, which is fine, but still the fact that.
So how do you get?
Yeah, the fact that Jean-Paul is a 2 out of 7 is still inaccurate. Even if you want to rank him below Quicksilver, give him a 5. I mean, short of Quicksilver, I think he's probably, he's in the top 3 fastest X-Men. So whatever.
Okay.
Again, I don't want to be that nerd, but especially it's on Marvel's
web. That nerd.
But it's on Marvel's website. I'm like, it's your fucking site. Like, how are you this wrong?
Aw.
So, all right. So let's we'll come back in 3, 2. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Goku, for a fantastic job as Jean-Paul, and it's just been a real honor and a lot of fun having you on the show. And hopefully we could do this again if the next time we have a Canadian character pops up. I don't know if there are any Acadian characters. I'm sure you may know more than we.
Not in traditional comic sense, but
all right. Well, I promise you, if there's ever an Acadian Canadian character that we cover, we'll bring you back on the show, and you'll be tasked with voicing them once again. and also because of your obvious your skills as you know, a mental health professional, not just because you're Canadian, but also that.
Well, thanks for having me on. It was an honor to be on the show because I've been listening to you guys for a while, and when you kind of put out that that call for the Mental Health Avengers, and it was just seemed so fitting to bring in all of these different podcasts, kind of touching on the same thing but different things at the same time.
Yeah, everybody's got a different angle. Everybody brings something different. I know we will be. I have to follow up with everybody because I have a couple of ideas for future episodes. So I'll hop on that Twitter group chat. I don't know who manages your Twitter account for Guardians, but I will follow up.
Yeah, that one is Joe. I think I joined in with my own personal one.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And hopefully we can get Dr. Scarlett on the next one. I know she's always been unavailable the last couple of times we've recorded, so hopefully we can get her in to join. So as we go through the wrap up housekeeping, recommended reading for Northstar is Alpha Flight 106, the coming out issue, and Astonishing X-Men number 51, which is his marriage to Kyle. So both excellent issues, and then generally just read Alpha Flight and some of the latter Astonishing X-Men books where he is a major part of the cast, and you can get a feel for how he fits in an ensemble. So upcoming episodes, next week we talk to Erica Schultz, writer of Forgotten Home, which just finished up on Comixology. So this will be her third appearance on the show. And so we're looking forward to that. And then we will move to Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then support systems in comics, as suggested by Matt. So Dr. Goku, why don't you just give us a quick rundown again of Guardians MH, all your plugs, social media, where they can find you all.
Sure. So, like I had mentioned earlier, so Guardians MH is a 501c3 nonprofit. We're mainly based on Discord, but you can pretty much find us everywhere. Easiest place is on MH, our website, MH.org, our Discord, where you can your support. There's also you can integrate to your own or Twitch channel. And we're working on a bunch of stuff as well. So to hopefully be announced in the coming weeks / months.
Excellent. Looking forward to that. Very cool. And you can find the RTS bot in our Discord server as well. So as we said earlier at the top of the show, it's just a fantastic resource. Looking forward to using it in Discord. And we don't Twitch much. I may be doing some Twitch streaming later on this year for Extra Life, and I'll see if I can incorporate the RTS bot. But I only have like maybe 3 people who follow me, so it's not really going to do much of anything. But you can find our Discord at tinyurl.com/capesdiscord, capital C, capital D. Our website is capesonthecouch.live. We are Capes on the Couch on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We've got a TeePublic site. Later on this month, we will be having a sale. I believe it's June 17th is the start of the sale. Everything will be up to 35% off on our TeePublic site, so you can check out the cool merch. We've got both our logo as well as the Because Comics stuff, so you can get some stuff on there. And we've got our Patreon site, as we mentioned at the top of the show, brand new patron. So thank you to my sister Angela for joining. And I think that about does it. So thank you once again to Dr. Goku from Guardians MH for joining us. Doc Issues, I know you're waiting, sitting eagerly with your pun to end the episode.
I'd just like to say it's always great to have mental health professionals on the show, because even Northstar can use a little extra guidance now and then.
And there it is. For Dr. Goku and Dr. Issues, I'm Anthony Sitko. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. All right. So save. And then Dr. Goku, if you can send, let me stop the broadcast.